Ah, yes. This neck has a delightful fruity bouquet with just a hint of maple syrup. Hello and welcome to another Highline Guitars YouTube guitar building videos. Today I'm going to answer a question that came up recently, and that question is, does the thickness of a guitar neck affect the tone of the guitar? And the short answer would be no, it doesn't. The long answer is, oh, I suppose it might, but in reality there are so many other factors in the guitar that can be changed easily which affect the tone more significantly than the thickness of a guitar neck. For example, you can change the pickups, you can swap out the magnets in the pickups, you can change the value of your pots, you can go with a different value capacitor, you can change the cable leading out to your amplifier, you can change the amplifier, and you can change the speaker. All those things can be changed relatively easily, and in some cases affordably, and they can have a dramatic impact on the tone of the guitar you're building. To worry about the thickness of the neck and how it might affect tone is really a non-starter, and it's not something you should be worried about. For example, I don't know of a single luthier out there who, while making a guitar, thinks about the thickness of the neck and how he can shape it to affect the final tone of the guitar. Nor have I ever heard of anyone who said, after building a guitar, wow, I don't like the tone of that guitar. Maybe if I replace the neck with a thicker neck or a thinner neck, I can get the tone right where I want it to be. That's just a total waste of time. There's no reason really to worry about that. The thickness of a guitar neck should be based on what the player prefers as far as how the neck feels while they're playing the guitar. Do they prefer a thick neck or a thin neck or something in between? But you shouldn't be carving the neck based on what you think it's going to do to the tone, because you're never really going to know until after the guitar is done. And what happens if you, especially if you're making a set-in neck and you made a thin profile, but you don't like the way the guitar sounds, you're kind of stuck. You can't add thickness to the neck to improve the tone. So why even bother worrying about something like that? If you don't like the tone of the instrument you made or would like to change it, focus on the pickups, focus on the electronics, and the path out to your amplifier and the amplifier itself. All those things can be changed to affect the tone far more than changing the thickness of the neck. At the same time, I think that you could probably conduct a scientifically controlled experiment where you have a guitar body and you change the neck from one test to another using different thickness necks. I mean, and you could even take it a step further and use necks made out of different species of wood. You know, even same thing with the fretboard. And you might be able to detect a difference between the necks in tone, but probably only if you were to run that outgoing sound through software that can analyze it, or equipment that can analyze it. I don't necessarily think that the human ear is going to be able to detect that difference. Now, some folks are going to claim that they can hear it, and they're going to say, well, I prefer the tone of a thick neck, or I prefer the tone of a thin neck. And yeah, I question that, just like I question it when people try to sniff a cork to judge the quality of the wine they're about to drink. You can't do it. If you're enjoying this video, I would encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. That always helps this channel to grow. If you'd like to do a little bit more and help support the channel financially, you can click the thanks button down below and leave a tip in the amount that you want. Also, you can visit my merch shelf, which is displayed below the description, and purchase a t-shirt, plans for building a guitar, or plans for building the tools that we use to build guitars. Now, back to the video. When it comes to building a guitar, if you're concerned about how the the neck is going to affect the tone, don't worry about it. It's the same as true with whether it's going to be a set-in neck or a bolt-in neck. You know, people swear up and down that a set-in neck is going to have better tone and sustain than a bolt-in neck. And that's just not true. Really what it comes down to is the quality of craftsmanship when constructing the guitar, because you can have a set-in neck with amazing tone and sustain, but you can also have a set-in neck with terrible tone and sustain based on how well the neck fit into the body and the quality of work that was done to glue it in. Same is true with a bolt-in neck. You can have a bolt-in neck that's really sloppy, that has terrible tone and sustain, or you can have a bolt-in neck that sounds fantastic because it's a nice snug fit and all of the effort to bolt the neck in was done properly and has resulted in high quality craftsmanship that's going to yield better tone and sustain. But I've played guitars that had sloppy necks that sounded amazing and had incredible sustain, so go figure. Really, I think when it comes to shaping the tone and the sound of an instrument, there are so many other factors that you should focus on to achieve that. And worrying about some of the other aspects of the guitar's design is just sort of a waste of time. Same is true like with a fretboard. I know some people will swear up and down that they prefer the tone and sustain of a rosewood fretboard as opposed to a maple fretboard. And then others will say, no, ebony's the way to go. You need to have an ebony neck. Really, for most guitar builders, the choice of maple, rosewood, ebony, whatever, Purple Heart, all the different kinds of woods that are available that you can use for a fretboard, the choice is really aesthetic more than anything else. And the reason it's aesthetic is because the tone and sustain can be controlled by so many other factors and dramatically. You know, and let's say you build a guitar with a maple fretboard and afterwards you're not satisfied with the tone or the sustain. Are you just going to scrape off that fretboard and put a new fretboard on in hopes of improving it? No, you're better off looking at the nut, the bridge, and all the other elements that go into establishing and controlling the tone of the guitar. So I hope you found this video to be educational. And as always, until the next episode, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.